Going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network. This is Jason Kabenda from the Detroit Lions, here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. I know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're gonna do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.
Let's get it.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Main Event 365. It's a special Thursday edition live. Be sure to put your comments and your wisecracks in the comment section and let us know. I'm your host, Main Event Mike, joined as always by our panel and our illustrious producer, Mr. Russell Wayne. Hey, Russ, happy birthday.
Hey, thank you very much, man. Thank you for remembering. And how are you doing?
I am doing great. And do you know why, my friend, I'm so great? Do you know why I'm so great, Russ?
Why are you so great?
Because it's 2 weeks to the draft, my friend. It's the Detroit Lions Super Bowl every year at the draft. And it's only 2 weeks away, and I'm getting pumped up. And I'm really pumped up about this panel. We've got in the house our good friend from Moneyapolis, Winnesota, a man that can be found on autumn afternoons in Minnesota chanting cheers in Norwegian. It is Jamez. How are you tonight, Jamez?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm glad my buddy's here, man. Hubert, man, that's my guy. You know, we've been rocking for years, man. A lot of people don't know that we're really cool, man. They see me and him spat. They don't know he's a real sarcastic guy, man. He likes to pull the strings.
Yeah, well, he's in the right place, and that brings us to our bottom left square, which is our good friend Tom Novans. Tom, you are out in L.A., and you are Australian, and you're a Lions fan. I am so intrigued, my friend. You have to tell me the story of why you're an Australian living in L.A. that's a Lions fan.
Unmute yourself, buddy.
Off of mute, preferably.
Stop playing with us.
Okay. He's got to get his headphones connected.
Some good takes, but we'll just have to take Jamez's word for it.
Can you hear me now?
We got you now. Tell us the story, Tom. How did you get to such a strange place?
Los Angeles or the Detroit Lion, Australia, and Los Angeles?
Yeah, that whole thing.
It's a long story. I don't want to bore anyone. But
give us the short version of why do you root for one of the worst franchises in sports history when you could have rooted for anyone?
I'm not a Vikings fan.
He said briefly, why did you become a Detroit Lion fan? That's what he said.
Thanks for interpreting, Jamez.
All Lions hoodie on.
You like that?
Did John Dorn send you that?
Tell us, Tom. I'm intrigued. I have to know why you're a Lions fan.
When I was a kid, I just picked Detroit for all sports. And at the time, Green Bay was really popular, and then the Bulls were really popular where I was growing up. And I was just like, so I was like, I'll go for the Pistons and the Lions and streamline at Detroit and everything. It was a terrible decision.
Underdog.
Well, we welcome it. We welcome it, my friend, and I am very glad that you're a Detroit Lions fan. It always intrigues me.
That makes one of us.
I was forced to be a Lions fan because of where I was born, it seems like. So I'm always intrigued by other people who are Lions fans. Hey, Tom, thanks for being on the program tonight. We really appreciate it. And Jamez, thank you for being on the program. I want to start with you tonight, Jamez, because you seemed like you had something to say tonight, brother. Do you have something to report to us from the Minnesota Vikings camp?
Oh yeah, not just from the Minnesota Vikings camp. I'm just in the North overall. I've been watching and seeing things. The moves being made and things coming together. One thing I really want to say and touch note. I think a lot of people are misguided and they think that our general manager Quezzy is just doing this such horrible job. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the number game and he's trading in division and all this stuff. He's actually creating a lot of cap space, man. He's cleaning up a mess that Spielman left behind, man. He's got it, and he's getting this projected in a space where even if we can at least stay afloat, and he's keeping a competitive team here, we can at least stay afloat until the end of next year when we get this big cap space. I think we're talking Super Bowl 2025, and I think we're lining up with that. We got the right coach, or at least getting on that level.
Playing with us.
Earlier, I had to go live. I dropped a post on Fantasy Sports. I just wanted to let people know I do feel that the second Aaron Rodgers is traded, that Kirk Cousins will be the best quarterback in the North, but it's not like he's just so much better than Jared Goff. He's got him beat a little bit. He's a little bit more clutch, and I think he's just a little bit more reliable. That was the gist of it. There's a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to talk about the Okudah deal.
We are definitely going to get to Jeff Okudah, but I want to address a couple of those things you said. Quezzy is creating a lot of cap room. He'll need it because he's signing backup tight ends to $7 million a year. So he needs cap room to make these terrible moves that he's doing. He's going to need cap room to sign the rookies that won't play or will get dominated when they do get on the field. The guy's not doing a great job, Jamez. I think you're looking at it through purple-colored glasses on that, in my opinion, with all due respect. Let's talk about that.
We'll get more into it.
Before we do, though, I want to ask Russell Wayne. He said something that I know that offends you, Russ, that Kirk Cousins will be the best quarterback in this division. We know that you are a gigantic Jared Goff fan, and it is your birthday. We can't let anybody insult your boy on your birthday. So tell him why, when Aaron Rodgers leaves this division, Kirk Cousins will not be the best quarterback.
Because Jared Goff will be the best quarterback in the North, and he was the best quarterback last year in the North too. I think this is 100% the Lions' division to lose in this next year, and they have everything around him. And what has Cousins really done? I mean, he won the division last year. I mean, that's kind of a fraud. You kind of know that, right? I mean, he carried
the 31st ranked defense on his back, Russell.
He carried it. He sure did. And you won a lot of really, really close games, and you kind of got exposed at the end of the year, didn't you? I mean, and
I think the defense did. The thing about it is, I think, and especially in the fourth quarter this year, bro, he was clutch, bro. He was the highest rated, even better than Patrick Mahomes, and he's getting hit a lot. I think if we know he's not like elite level, he's not going to be making Patrick Mahomes type moves, but it would build it around. I think this is what I honestly believe. I don't like to knock on Jared Goff. I don't think he's as accurate as Cousins, but I think that offensive line that you guys have over there, I think it masks a lot of his flaws, man. He dinks and dunks with a lot with St. Brown. I don't think he has the long ball Cousins has, man. And it's like a 1A, 1B type thing, but I had to give him the notch on it.
Okay, I like that, Kate. Hey, Tom, you break this tie for me. When Aaron Rodgers leaves the division, unbiasedly now, who do you think would be a better quarterback? Who would you think would be the best quarterback in the division?
I mean, it's clearly Jared Goff. It's not even open for discussion. It's quite interesting that Quezzy is already starting the process right now to un-Viking Kirk Cousins' career. So I think even Queasy would agree that it's Jared Goff. Queasy's a little bit confused, and I can see why James said all that stuff. You can see the fear in James's eyes, and I get it. Like, you look at Queasy, what has he really done? Like, let's start with the 2020-22 draft class of Queasy. Lewis Seen, Andrew Booth Jr., Ed Ingram, Brian Asamoah.
The jury's still out. The jury's still out on them guys.
The jury is definitely still out on all of those guys. So you have that one drug off class. Then you look at some of the free agency signings. He's only had 1 year. We only have 1 year to judge this guy. I'm just going to rip through them. Like, you got like Julian Tullor, Nate Hairston, Jesse Davis, Chandon Sullivan, Chris Reed. These are the guys he brought in last year. They're all known names. The Vikings won 13 games last year.
We had the bargain pick. We didn't have no money.
Always Spielman's old players. Squeezy's done nothing. He's extended Kirk Cousins last season, and now he wants to move on from him. So I can completely understand.
So Hubert, let me ask you. You consider keeping a team that's going to be competitive intact, as well as building the cap space up to the heavens. You consider that doing nothing? He's making tough decisions. And you think? And I'm not so sure he's out on Cousins.
Cap space up to the heaven. I'm getting an echo, so it's hard for me to talk. I'm sorry, but he hasn't. He's signing tight end twos for $7 million. He can't move Delvin Cook.
So what does that tell you, Hubert? So if he's still able to make these moves, in the situation where he's making these moves, even still with the situation that we're in, that's what I'm saying. The team right now, like I still feel like I don't think you guys overall have a better roster than us right now. It looks like you might right now, and I definitely give you guys a shot at the division. But I'm telling you right now, for him to not have to gut the team completely to do this process that he's doing, bro, he's doing a damn good job for the start. Like I said, time will tell, and you better watch out for Lewis Seen this year, man.
Well, let's be honest, unobjectively. I got to agree with you, Jamez, in a couple of things here. You got the right coach. Kevin O'Connell was a great hire. He proved to be a great hire. He wins the division in his first season as coach with a very suspect defense. Then Quezzy brings in Brian Flores in this offseason. That might be your biggest offseason acquisition and the best move that Quezzy has made so far, bringing in Brian Flores. So I definitely love those moves. And when it comes to the Jared Goff thing, I'm sorry. Russell Wayne and I have said this before. Kirk Cousins is Jared Goff. They are basically the same quarterback. They have the same shortcomings.
They really are.
Strengths. You could put Jared Goff on that team last year, and they may have the same result with a division championship, and vice versa.
I definitely think Goff's more athletic.
We probably still would have spanked the Packers twice in the season. So I think it's a wash with those quarterbacks, and I definitely like the coaching moves that Quezzy has made since he's come in. This draft is going to be huge for Quezzy. It's really going to balance out the mediocre to bad draft he had last year if he can have a good one this year. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of high draft picks, not a lot of draft capital that he's playing with, where like the Lions have 9 picks. But if they can get some good value and help that defense, I think the Vikings are definitely going to be our stiffest competition for the division title this year.
And I want y'all to keep in mind, Hubert, think about this too. Even though we obviously some of these players are bad and they're underperforming, that's why some of them are gone. But you got to think about what Flores might be able to get out of some of these guys. Like, the Davenport move, it didn't make a lot of sense to the guy. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure he signed off on that. He must see something. I trust the process with this guy. I trust his mindset, and I think even some of these guys that might have looked like trash last year might be able to pick it up when we're not sitting in that punk ass shell and just getting gassed. You look at the last Detroit Lions game. Just due to the fact that we couldn't get no pressure on the elite line, Goff just tore us up through the middle. And that's what a lot of teams did. And there's really no way to stop that if you can't get no pressure.
Davenport had
he likes to run
sack last year, and playing on the Saints, great coaching, surrounded by great players, couldn't get it done. I don't know how to do in Minnesota when everyone's rushing for 200 yards.
No, you're absolutely right, Jamez. In today's NFL, you've got to be able to generate pressure on the quarterback with 4 guys. You got to be able to do it with 4 guys, maybe 5 at the most. Other than that, I mean, like blitzes, these quarterbacks today are just killing teams that blitz.
Hey, so, Mike, we were barely getting home when we sent 5.
Yeah, right. So I think it is a good move to get pass rush. I definitely think that's a position they are going to be looking to fill in the draft, and linebacker as well after they lose Eric Hendricks.
And
you've lost your best players so far.
You were the 32nd ranked.
It's going to be very hard to retool.
You were the 31st ranked.
I don't think we're going to drop off that much.
Go ahead, Russell.
You were the 31st ranked defense, and you lost your best linebacker. But somehow you have a better roster than the Lions right now. I mean, I love it. I love that you love your team with your heart. Let me ask you a question. How many games?
It's because it's not proven, Russell.
What is it proven?
Hey, the Detroit Lions, you guys are projecting that off the moves you guys make that you're going to be better. I don't believe it's going to have to be shown to me. I don't believe so. I believe still. And then off the offense, I think we got you beating a couple skill positions. I just think overall, head coach, I would say even without him coaching the snap for us, you would probably take Brian Flores over Aaron Glenn, right? Just in a nutshell.
No, because Dan Campbell's the coach, so no. But in a neutral situation, perhaps.
No.
But James,
that's what I meant in a neutral situation.
You should answer Russell's question though. How did the Vikings get better?
I didn't say we got better. I still think we're still good enough to be better than everybody around here. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying.
So you do not, the Minnesota Vikings do not right now, 2023, and this is April 2023, not anything in the past. The Detroit Lions have a better roster top to bottom than the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's undisputable, but
let's go.
So where are you better?
We'll give you Justin Jefferson off the bat, and we'll call the quarterbacks a wash, right? We'll call that a rub.
Tight end, running back. Tight end, running back.
You have a better tight end, but ours has 3 heads.
What safety do you guys have that's better than Harrison Smith?
Kirby Joseph.
CJ
What pass rusher do you have that was more effective than Z Smith even catching a knee contusion in the other back half of the season?
Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston.
Aiden Hutchinson didn't have 11. I don't think Hutchinson had 11 sacks. I don't think he had 11 sacks.
No. I'll give you Justin Jefferson, and I'll give you Christian Darrisaw, and you know what? I'll give you Patrick Peterson. Oh, wait, you let him go.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Patrick Peterson, we already upgraded him, buddy.
Okay, so that's one. So you need one guy. Who do you got past Harrison
We have a better running back. We have a better tight end. Let's call the quarterback to watch. Do you think David Montgomery is better than Dalvin Cook?
Yeah.
Really?
Because the best ability is availability.
You guys are killing me here. I'm going to keep going.
Hey! You didn't let me answer the first question. No. David Montgomery is not better than Dalvin Cook, but DeAndre Swift is way better than Madison.
Okay, So we're going on to totality. He's way better than Madison. He's way better than Madison. Really, Madison has been produced way more than him in the last 2 years being a backup, bro. He can't even stay on the field. How is he better than Madison?
I'm talking straight talent, right? We're talking talent, right? Dalvin Cook's had one good year without being injured.
One good year. He's went for 1K for the last 4 straight years consecutively, bro. 4K. He went 1K. He hasn't missed 1K even with those injuries.
The Minnesota Vikings come training camp. Is he even on your team?
I think he is.
I think he afford him.
He is, until he's not, he is.
You got $1 million of cap space right now.
$1 million in cap space, but that's when you're a 13-win team and when you're the division king, we don't have to panic like you guys are panicking right now.
Rules,
bro. We don't have to panic. We already knew. We knew the Vikings were going to have any money long before this situation got here, and he's still making moves. I want to bring this up. Y'all brought up Patrick Peterson, dude. Do you guys not understand? I want to bring this one back to you. Patrick Peterson is a great corner. We literally signed a corner that's better than any corner in Detroit right now. Have you guys not been? Byron Murphy's better than any corner in Detroit right now.
Byron Murphy?
Any corner you have right now.
What kind of nonsense? Where do you live?
You're talking about Byron Murphy. He wasn't even the best corner on his own.
Well, he's top rated. Okay, so tell me the corner you have that's better than him. I want to hear this.
Luda Baker was better than him. He wasn't even the best corner on his own team.
Cameron Sutton's way better than
When did y'all get Buda Baker?
Oh, no, I'm saying he wasn't even the best corner on his own team. Now you're telling me he's the best corner
I
in the North?
said he's better than anybody on Detroit right now. Better than
No.
Cam Sutton. Better than Mosley off the torn ACL. You
No.
lost the quarter. Are you serious right now, dude?
Byron Murphy was trash.
Yeah.
Bro,
trash.
he's better than any corner in Detroit right now.
Byron Murphy. Oh, let's look at this. Peterson was better than Murphy.
Absolutely.
And you let him go.
You know, he wasn't higher graded than him last year. Bro, you got to remember he only played in. I won't just
You like
go
your
off
favorite
that.
guys.
But
You like your guys,
he's only in 10 games, bro. So it's hard to just say that. But he had better than Patrick.
Man.
Peterson got burnt last year, bro. I don't know what games you guys were watching, man.
Yeah.
I think you guys are letting the 16
watched
Texans
the
over your
game
head.
where the Detroit ran right over Minnesota.
All right,
So
I like it.
it wasn't Patrick Peterson.
Let's move on. Jamez is getting ganged up on, and he's holding his own.
I'm trying to leverage with you guys.
He is.
I'm trying to leverage with you guys, man.
All right, let's change the subject. Let's run those Chicago Bears into the ground since they're not here to defend themselves.
That's nice.
Look, I heard an interview this week on satellite radio with Paris Johnson, the left tackle from Ohio. And this kid was very, very impressive. And it made me go back and look at his highlight reel on YouTube. I looked him up. This kid is gigantic, and he moves people. He is elite in pass protection. And then I see all these mocks of Chicago taking other tackles. Have any of you guys looked at these tackles? And this Paris Johnson kid, his dad played in the league. He grew up around players. He'd been working out with Willie Anderson since he was a kid. He's been made to play left. He's going to play left tackle in the NFL for the next 10 to 15 years. Tom Novans, have you seen this Paris Johnson guy? Do you think he's a blue chipper? And do you think the Bears should draft him at 9?
I do think the Bears should take him, so I do not think he's a blue chipper. He's got all the intangibles, like loves football, great human being, A+, great in pass pro, but he's a little soft. He's not super strong. I see him as being like a Jeff Backus guy. He's not going to be. I don't think he's a blue chip kind of Jonathan Ogden, Penei Sewell, Rayshawn Slaughter, even the left tackle Darisaw the Vikings have. He's not at that level. Paris Johnson going to the Bears wouldn't worry me. I think he's a Jeff Backus, Riley Reef type.
It's interesting that you said Jonathan Ogden because that's the player he's being compared to, Hall of Famer Jonathan Ogden. That his game translates very well in comparison to Jonathan Ogden. So, and when I watch the tape, of course, he's playing left tackle in the Ohio State system. So he's out there on an island. He's not asked to do a whole lot except pass block for, all day because those guys seem to have all day back there. Jamez, have you had a chance to check out this Paris Johnson? And do you see if the Bears take him, does that kind of, worry you a little bit that we're not going to be able to get to Justin Fields?
No, not really. And I've heard about him. I don't follow college as much, but I have heard about him. I've seen people talking about him. I don't think they're gonna. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think they're gonna get him a lineman with that first pick. I think they're gonna get him one, but I think they're gonna neglect him with that number 9 pick. I think they might even get him another. They might get him a weapon, not neglect him totally. But I don't think they're gonna
get him a weapon. Or maybe address the defense since their defense stinks too. But but they're going to have to get some protection for Justin Fields. I mean, that kid can ball out, but he just hasn't proven that he can put the ball on the money right now. He can't throw into pro tight windows, it seems. And the Bear fan base says, well, that's because his O-line is shit. And in last year's draft, they did nothing to help that kid. They got a late round tackle that ended up working out good, Braxton Jones, but they really did nothing to help the kid. Tom Novans, you said it doesn't bother you one bit, Paris Johnson. Jamez says, no, it doesn't bother you. What about you, Russ? I want to ask you. You're a big Sakai fan. What do you think?
I mean, he's a good tackle. He's 6'6". I'm looking here at PFF. He's 313 pounds. They're saying where he wins. I mean, he's just a blind side. He's going to be a franchise left tackle. Where he can improve is his hand usage, and that is something that's very coachable in the NFL. So, gosh, if you're the Chicago Bears and, it comes up pick 9, I think you could call that name and you'd feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
Right. And Brad Holmes said earlier this month that there were about 6 blue chippers in this year's draft, right? Do you think Paris Johnson's one of them that he's referring to?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think he's that. I think he could be a good left tackle, but as far as plug and play, maybe all pro first year type of person, I don't think he's that.
One person I heard
Hurry up, the right one.
Go
Hurry
ahead,
up.
Tom.
One person I heard that backs up what I was saying, Rick Spielman, the old Vikings GM who actually took Christian Darris, or he traded down and took this fabulous player. So he knows his left tackles. He was saying the same thing in his podcast this morning. He was saying, I think he'll be good, but he's not a blue chipper. Like, he'll be a solid left tackle, but he's not this potential elite Pro Bowl guy. I see as a Jeff Backus level.
Okay.
And Rick Spielman agrees with me.
So Russ, with Brad Holmes talking about 6 blue chippers, who do you think might be on that list? Obviously, Will Anderson, right?
I mean, I don't think it's obviously anybody. I think he has his 6 guys, and I don't even think, you can't even guarantee that one of those 6 guys has to be a quarterback. I think that they got their eye on 6 guys they interviewed, and they've been on record, both Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, saying that the most important part of their process is the interview process. They don't really give a crap how fast they run in shorts and that the whole track and field thing on the combine. So from the interview perspective, I think Bijan Robinson is one of the guys.
He's one of those 6.
I think that Bijan Robinson is one of those guys with special elite trait talent that is the blue chipper guy that you're looking for.
Okay.
That's one. So let me think. Go to somebody else, and then I'll try to think of another
Tom,
one.
give me a name that you think might be on that short list of blue chippers.
I have a slightly different spin from Russell. When Brad said the top 6, I don't think he meant the top 6 of the Lions. I think he meant like the 6 best talent in the draft. If I had to guess, I would say Tyree Wilson, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Bijan Robinson,
Bryce Young,
maybe the tackle out of Northwestern.
So you think Skoronski would be ahead of Paris Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't play a position as great a value,
I think
his 32-inch arms. You could get T-Rex to play left tackle.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's Jalen Carter.
He's got Riley Reef arms.
Yeah, I think
that worked out great.
If Carter or Will Anderson is still there at 6, I think the Lions will strike.
I'm wondering what the surprise is. Maybe Quentin Johnston is one of those guys. He's a freak.
Jackson Smith and Jigba. The guy had 1,600 yards.
There's always a surprise, right? PFF and all these guys, they do all these rankings and everything, and it comes down to it. And then there was always just like, what? Really? That guy? Last year it was the linebacker, Quay Walker. He was a 2nd round talent, and then, they call his name in the 1st round. I think that was one of the bigger surprises. And
Nakobe Dean expected to go in the 1st and didn't go till the 3rd. So,
Russell, I do an exercise every year where I go back and look at mock drafts from exactly 12 months ago, and there's mock drafts from 12 months ago that have Malik Willis and Matt Corral, going in the top 15. So revisionist history shows there's a lot of guessing. There's a lot of guessing.
And Russell, what's crazy about that Quentin Johnston thing, especially with a roster like an offense like the Lions or Vikings, you got to think adding him to a Jefferson, or adding him to St. Brown, or adding him to a team that's already got the offensive a playoff caliber offense, bro. It probably puts you over the top. How are you gonna guard all them guys at one time?
Yep, I agree.
And that's what would you be all right? Would you be all right with the Vikings taking a quarterback at 23?
I would, as long as I don't want Hendon Hooker though. Just off Vikings experience, man. I don't like messing with quarterbacks that are coming off injury history, man. It's never worked out for us, man. Even if you got the proper time to heal, Now, let's say we use the pick we got from the Lions. He's still there dangling in the 4th round or something. Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll take a Stetson Bennett or maybe even an Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue right there.
Oh yeah, that's one of those very popular late round mock drafters.
Yeah.
But the first pick at 23, if there's a quarterback there, one of these top 5 guys, what about Anthony Richardson? If he's there,
definitely take him.
Even though your defense is 30 ranked in the bottom third.
That Flores better figure that shit out. You take him right there. Flores, you got this big name. You're trying to make a name for yourself again. You better figure that out. We're taking this. We got to take if it's Will Levis, Richardson, or any of them guys. I don't know about Levis though. They say he puts mayo in his coffee and shit. I don't.
He did
that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Of milk, right? Is that?
I'm like, yeah. That's kind. I never heard of that mayo in the coffee.
Mayonnaise is not made of milk. Mayonnaise has 2 ingredients, and that's eggs and oil.
I'm like, damn, he might rub the locker room wrong. He might be back there doing some weird stuff.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of a weird personality. I would love to see him go to Minnesota. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
Can we really believe anything that's coming out of the draft? Like all of the camps right now. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, Jamez, do you live at a daycare?
Why do you say that?
I don't know. There's all kinds of noise going on back here.
Oh, do I got some back?
Yeah, you got some background noise. Yeah. Sounds like it's lunchtime at the daycare center. All right, moving on. Oh, whatever you did, you fixed it, man. Thank you. Beat them kids. All right.
Don't do that.
Let's talk about another suckeye who's leaving town. His name was Jeff Okudah. He was the number 3 overall pick 3 years ago. He's played around 20 games for the Detroit Lions. His 5th-year option was coming, and the Lions let him go. We trade him to Atlanta for a 5th-round pick. I want to start with you, Tom. Tell me, how'd the Lions do in this trade to get a 5th-rounder for a previous 3rd overall selection?
There's not a lot of great things to say about this, and I don't really want to. It's even more difficult when Jamez is here talking about Okudah. Geez, that's a long, sad story. Could have had Justin Herbert. I mean, but at the time, a lot of Lions fans wanted Isaiah Simmons, right, who hasn't really turned out. I mean, it's tough. He's really struggled as a rookie, and then quarter 3 in his first game against the 49ers, blows out his Achilles in his 2nd year. I mean, but it's a really tough story. I think to answer your question, I think we're lucky to get the 5th. I remember initially there was an internet rumor saying, hey, the Lions looking for 3rd. They're talking to the Rams. Maybe they'll get a 3rd. I was like, do it. Hell, throw in a 5th to make it happen to get a 3rd. So I thought we were quite lucky to get the 5th. And it wasn't Atlanta's 5th, right? It was Jacksonville's 5th. So it's closer to the 6th round than it is the top of the 5th round. It's just really tough. I mean, he's the number 3 pick. He's got incredible talent. So Lion fans everywhere the whole year are like, hopefully this guy turns it around. And for the first half of the season, he did pretty well. He obviously had that Dallas game. But even before then, he was doing some really nice things, particularly in the run. But also, I mean, even in the passing game, he was really showing that maybe he had something. But then the second half hit. He got benched for Mike Hughes. He almost lost us the Jets game. It's just a really tough, just another sad story in a bunch of sad stories of Detroit Lion draft history.
Right. Well, you said, in your opinion, we were lucky to get the fifth for him. So I think that's a good take. Russell Wayne, tell me about your boy, Jeff Okudah. And tell me, did the Lions do all right with a 5th rounder here?
I was a little disappointed with what we got back, but at the end of the day, here's something like when you look at previous regimes, this is the type of guy that just kind of hangs on to the end of the contract, and then he ends up leaving, and then they get nothing for him.
Right.
I mean,
good take.
This one pulls a bunch of money off of the cap. And really it solidifies it's almost like addition by subtraction, because Cam Sutton and Emmanuel Mosley are the 1 and 2 for sure, and then you got Jerry Jacobs in the slot. There's no big questions, and now you can just draft the people that are coming behind them. So I like the move from a now to future standpoint, and this is a very, very deep cornerback draft. They may even be able to replace him with the pick they got in the 5th round.
Yeah, well, you make a good point. They did clear over $5 million in cap space by moving on from Okudah. Now, in that first Minnesota game, Jamez, he shut down Justin Jefferson in a losing effort. Justin Jefferson got shut down in that game. Of course, he came back in the next game in Detroit and, set all the records and had the game of his life. Yeah. And he abused Okudah. So are you going to miss seeing Jeff Okudah get abused by Justin Jefferson?
I'm not really. I was hoping that he stayed so Jefferson could bust his ass and return the favor. But no. See, when I first heard about the trade, I thought the Lions could have got a little bit more. I thought, just off the fact, man, he was 3rd overall pick, and it seemed like he was finally starting to show the potential that Lions fans had been asking and demanding for, but it wasn't as consistent as.
Yeah, he definitely had a few good games, and he did a great job down by the line of scrimmage, tackling at the line of scrimmage. He did a great job, and it really did seem like he was starting to come around, and maybe there was going to be a chance that he would be competing for a spot. But wait a minute, he's a 3rd overall pick. And this 5th-year option, you have to declare that 5th-year option. I think it's May 1st, so that's coming up in just a couple of weeks.
And it's $11 million guaranteed.
It's $11.5 million guaranteed. And the problem here, guys, is the sample size just isn't big enough to be able to assess, is he worth $11.5 million? And I think they really had no choice but to try to get whatever they could for him because of the moves that Brad Holmes made in free agency. So I definitely think, to Tom's point, we were lucky to get a 5th rounder, even though it does seem like a tough pill to swallow with him being a 1st-round pick in the top 5.
And listen, we know, just quickly finish off,
go ahead.
Holmes would have lets it know. Every team knew Jeff Okudah is available for a trade, right? That's why they leaked we're talking with the Rams. And the rest of the league, out of all of that, the best offer was Jacksonville's 5th-round pick. So we know how the league views him in terms of value. He's not worth more than the Jacksonville Jaguars 5th-round draft pick.
Right, and he was our number 1 corner last year. We've got to come up with more Jacksonville content just to have Tom say Jaguar.
Can I add one more thing to that?
Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah,
I think it was birthday.
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is my birthday.
Go ahead with your take, birthday boy.
Do you think for once I could just go to the bathroom by myself?
Once. Depends.
No, I think it was a win-win situation for both teams. I mean, really, when you think of Jeff Okudah, he didn't want to be the 3rd cornerback coming off of this team. He's not going to get paid like that. He's not going to be able to showcase what he can do. So Atlanta also presents an opportunity for him so he can go and compete for the number 2 corner spot. He doesn't even have the pressure of being the number 1 corner going there. He can be the number 2 guy and compete for that spot. And then if he plays well, then he might just play himself into a nice contract. I don't think he had that opportunity here. So it was a good opportunity for Okudah, good opportunity for us to get something out of the guy, and a good opportunity for Atlanta because, shoot, they might strike gold. And if he's a shutdown, $11 million isn't really that much to pay for a shutdown.
Yeah. Right. Well, one thing about Okudah departing is it frees up the number 1. The numero uno on the team. And Jamison Williams tweeted this week, I want that number. He wants his number back. And now he's catching a little bit of flack from the other fan bases. That a teammate moves on. This is a tough business. And, the only thing he's got to say about it is, I want that number. Do you think
Mike,
hold on, Jamez. I'm going to kick it to you first. Jamez, is that low class to just talk about the number when your teammate leaves?
It goes to Huber's point. It makes me wonder how other Lions players felt about him. Like they don't give a goddamn. Like so you know what I'm saying. But it was kind of he couldn't say farewell, good luck in Atlanta. Right. Give me that. Like he been waiting for him to leave for months. Like I've been waiting for it so I can announce this shit. Get your ass up out of here so I can get my number.
It wasn't in the same week. He
wasn't even sad about it at all.
It was within 30 minutes. Yeah.
Because you've got to know if you're Jameson Williams that Okuda was at least a little bit pissed after getting this news.
Well,
Just at least it stung. At least you've got to know he's reading everything online right now.
Oh my God! Hey, you ready for this main event, Mike?
Yeah.
Okuda Matata.
Oh no, you did it. We just lost 18 viewers.
Hey,
Hey, that's
all right,
life.
let's get a handle on this thing. All right, there it is. No more Jeff Okuda talk. Hey, I do wish him well. I believe it is very kind of tragic. We never really got a chance to see what this kid could have been in a Detroit Lions uniform. We got flashes of it last year. Just not a big enough sample size to put all that money in. Brad Holmes is a smart businessman, and he knows good business when he sees it. So, au revoir, Jeff Okuda Matata. I'm just mad I didn't say it. Okay, moving on. I hear a rumor out there that the Lions, now this comes from Matt Miller, ESPN reporter. We got this by way of our good friend Big Dan Davis, that the Lions love Texas Tech edge rusher Tyree Wilson. He's 6'6", 275, and according to Matt Miller from ESPN, the Lions are just enamored with this guy. So my question to this panel is, if Will Anderson is on the board, do you think they love Tyree Wilson enough to take him over Will Anderson? Tom Novans, tell me.
I'm sorry, I was doing something else. Repeat the question.
Would you rather have Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson?
Oh, God. Jeez. I don't want to be the guy that says Tyree Wilson and Will Levis becomes Josh Allen.
All right, well, you're not. Jamez, you be the guy to tell me. Would you rather have Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson?
I'd have to go with Will Anderson.
Me too.
But I have seen about 4 to 5 mock drafts, Lions mock drafts with them taking Wilson.
I've been wanting Tyree Wilson all this time, but that's only because I didn't think there was a chance Will Anderson would fall to us. Russell, Wayne, you tell me which one.
Well, I don't want to answer the damn question either. But what I do know is that Brad Holmes has 6 guys that are on his list, and this is one of those situations where is it really going to surprise you all that much to see somebody take Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson because he's the prototypical. He's the 6'6", 280 pound, coming off the edge with all the technique and everything. Or Will Anderson, the freak. I don't know which one he thinks is the blue chipper guy, but from a size standpoint, I take Tyree Wilson as a prototypical defensive end over Will Anderson.
I hope one of them's there. I'd love them both. I hope one of them's there.
One of them will be there for sure.
One of them will be there, and Jalen Carter might also be there. So would you rather have either one of those or Jalen Carter, Jamez?
See, I ain't gonna lie. If I was in position, if I was down there with the Lions, if I could somehow manage a trade for the Lions to return the favor, I wouldn't be thinking that down that pit, but I would still take Carter, man. Even though he didn't show up in the biggest games in college, but the guy has a motor, man. His motor, he kind of reminds me of Hutchinson. Not that they do the same thing, but he's coming for you all goddamn game, and he seems to never get tired. And one thing, with Hutchinson, people try to say, a lot of people try to knock him. But one thing about Hutchinson is not his skill that just makes him so raw. But the kid's a dog, bro. He's a tough motherfucker, man. He really comes into the game. If you think about his first play of his NFL career, his first play gets into the goddamn backfield and stops him up. But that's his first play, and he's doing his little signature move. That speaks volumes, man. It speaks volumes.
Yeah, and he kind of embodies what Dan Campbell preaches to. He was the perfect pick for this team, I believe. All right, well, moving on. I like it. Next thing I want to talk about is Tampa Bay linebacker Devin White wants a trade. There's a lot of Lions fans out there saying the Lions should take him. I know that you're a big Alex Anzalone fan, Russ. You're not one of the guys that thinks we should take Devin White. Tell me about it.
No, I mean, he didn't play as good as Anzalone did last year. And I live in the now. So when you compare these guys, what they did and what they offered to the team, Anzalone, for one, has been in the defense for 2 years, and he understands what's going on with that. And number two, Devin White the only thing that he's done good in his entire career, I think he's the most overrated running back in the NFL.
He's a linebacker.
What did I say he was?
Running back.
You said
I said
quarterback.
running back. He's the most the linebacker in the NFL. I think he's the most overrated linebacker in the NFL because, you know, he did go to a Super Bowl, but all he can do is pass rush. His PFF grades for tackling, for run defense, for and coverage, he's awful in all of them. So I would say a big no on Devin White.
How about you, Tom?
I like Devin White, but a lot of me subscribes to what Russell is saying. I think he was the 5th overall pick, so everyone had all leading up to the draft, there was a whole lot of, everyone got to know him, you know, there was a lot of hype around him. So he has that on his reputation. And then in the playoffs in the lead up to the Super Bowl, when they won a few years ago, he was lights out. Like, he was one of the most important players. So those two things have people thinking he's, sorry, I've got to take my head off because I'm getting echo. I have to take my headphones off. So those two things combined have led to him being incredibly overrated. I watched all the Bucs games last year because I'm a huge Brady fan. He really struggled. I think he'd be a lot better, like if he was waived. Yeah, I'd love to pick him up. But when you're talking about trading a high pick and then giving him a Roquan Smith-like contract, absolutely not.
Not worth it. And really, I believe the only reason we're even hearing anything from him now, he's under contract, is because his teammate Levante David just got extended. So that's causing him to, I want money too. So I don't like this pick for the Lions. I really don't see any traction with it. Anything that I've heard, it's just fans with their wishes wanting to see a guy like this. Mike, what do you think? Do you want Devin White? Put it in the comments. Let us know. Do you think we should have kept Jeff Okudah? Let us know. We'll kick these questions and comments around the panel. And I'd like to remind everyone that we are just 2 weeks away from the main event, broadcasting live from the Lions Den. The 2023 NFL Draft will be giving you the picks as soon as they are legally allowed to be given. As soon as they come off the board, we'll have analysis, special guests, a few jokes, maybe a little music. It's going to be a live special. It's our second annual. That's Thursday, April 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to join us. The Detroit Lions have 9 picks. 9 picks in this year's draft by acquiring another 5th rounder for Jeff Okudah. We definitely see a lot of defense coming this way is what everybody's predicting. But what kind of surprise do you expect? Or would you be willing to predict, Tom Novins? I know Russell Wayne's already given me a couple, and I'm going to ask him for another. But I'm going to ask you, give me something that we didn't see coming that you might just be right. And we'll have this take on footage for you to make you look like a freaking genius if you're right.
I feel like I'm going to be Dr. Zimmer, where he famously was thrown on and said Dan Marino's going to be a bust. I don't have any surprises. I really don't know. I hope that the tight end talk at 18 overall is nonsense. I could honestly see the Lions going Bijan Robinson at 18, so maybe that could be my surprise. But okay. I'm not strong about it. I am really. I just have no idea how the Lions are going to play it this year. Trade up, trade down. So
let's put you out on a limb. If Bijan Robinson's there at 18, do you predict the Lions will take him?
It depends who else is on the board. Like if we don't take a corner, 6 overall, and then Banks or Witherspoon is available at 18, I think we might go the corner. I'm not giving you great hot takes here.
Okay, Russell Wayne, give me something I didn't see coming on draft day.
I think they're going to trade back into the top 10.
Ooh, there's a good one. You think we make the selection at 6 and then trade back into the top 10 with 18 and some other picks?
Yeah, in some form, that's probably the easiest way that would happen. But yeah, if he says that there's 6 guys that are the blue chipper guys, I doubt that 4 of them are quarterbacks. And I think that, you know, that there's going to be a couple of them available. So they'll pick their pick. They'll pick their guy at 6, and then they'll let a couple of guys go by. And then and as they only have one of those guys left, they're going to make that phone call, and they're going to pop back into the top 10 to make sure they get 2 of their blue chipper guys.
So you're looking at the Bears at 9, the Eagles at 10, and the Titans at 11. Titans are likely. I mean,
I like that
Mel
one.
Kiper. Mel Kiper predicts the Titans move up from 11 to 3 in with Arizona, and they get the quarterback to sit behind Ryan Tannehill. Maybe Anthony Richardson be a great place for Anthony Richardson to land, to sit behind Tannehill and learn for a year. And Tannehill's on the last year of his contract, so that might actually happen. But I mean, you'd be looking at then Arizona at 11, Philadelphia at 10, and Chicago at 9. So you think maybe one of those picks, the Lions trade back even more, back up to the front to get another one of those blue chip players then, Russ?
Wait, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what he wants. I think that this team is less than 5 players away that they could seriously compete if they put a like a top 10 player in the middle of that defense, you know, like an Aaron Donald type of player in the middle of that defense, along with everything else, and then add a elite cornerback with what they have. And I think they're snapping to be a contender for the NFC if they do those two things. So getting 5 players that are good, or using, you know, those 5 picks to get 2 players that are the guys they want, I think is more where they're at right now.
I like that.
Respect, Russell. I disagree. I don't see the Lions trading up. If anything, I see them trading back. Holmes has been deadly in the day 2 and early day 3, even mid day 3. So I don't see him moving back up. I see him maybe trading back from 6, but I think it's a stick and pick at 18.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good take. If you've got a good take, put it in the comments. If you've got a bad take, we welcome those as well. It's the Main Event 365. And we are talking about Detroit Lions football now that we got rid of those pesky Viking fans. No Bear fans, no Packer fans in tonight. I'd like to remind everybody that every Monday night we go live in the NFC North Open Mic, where all 4 fan bases are usually represented. We have Vikings, Packers, Bears, and Lions, and we rip each other to shred, and we have terrible takes, and we invite you to join us because it's also an open mic night where we want the gallery to come in and make some comments. I think we're kind of up against it for tonight, though, fellas. It's been wonderful. Tom, thanks so much for joining us out there. It's just now dinner time where you're at, so it's almost 11 o'clock at night here. So for Russell Wayne and Tom Novans, I'm Main Event Mike. God bless everyone. Peace out.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.